Today at ilovecooking.ie I'm going to make a lemon risotto with pan-fried prawns. So the first thing to do is to make the risotto. So I've got some shallots here which are finely diced. I'm going to add them to our pan. It's really important when you make a risotto to use a nice heavy based pan. So we start off by putting in some butter, because there's lovely flavour, and to prevent the butter from burning I'm going to put in a little bit of olive oil. So swirl that around and wait till it's melted, and then we're going to add our shallots. And you want to add a touch of salt here. It helps draw out the moisture and it'll help the shallots sweat faster. So see all that steam? You want to capture the steam with the lid. Turn it down now because we don't want it to burn. So the onions have picked up a little bit of colour, but that's okay. How will you know if they're soft and ready? Well, you can look at it and you can see here on the spoon it is almost see-through, and if in any doubt you can just taste it, so you don't want to get a crunch. So once it's nice and soft you can add the garlic. Now I'm going to add the risotto rice. So you can see this is a short grain pearly shaped rice. So in it goes. So risotto rice means toasted rice, so at this stage you want to stir it so it soaks up all that lovely butter, and you're going to cook it here for about a minute or two, but keep stirring. And then the next stage will be to add the stock. So I've actually got some chicken stock here which I've made, and it's a light chicken stock. Okay, it hasn't got too much colour. So after about 1 or 2 minutes you can start adding the stock, but just before I add the stock it's really important to add the white wine. Okay, so just measure out about a glass of white wine and you can pour it in there. So now you can see that the wine has been evaporated. So the next step now is to add a ladle of stock. And you just need some patience. This is a really good dish. Probably better to make it at the weekend when things are just a little bit slower. So when it's ready for the next ladle of stock, you just draw a line across, and you can see if it doesn't meet in the middle, it's ready to go. So you see there, it's very slow to meet in the middle, so now we add another ladle. I've actually made a chicken stock, but you can buy good quality stock cubes. Just check the salt content on the packet. And if you are making a fresh chicken stock, you'd never add salt. Salt is an ingredient, so we're going to add the salt to the risotto and season at the end. So as you draw the line, it's very slow to meet in the middle. So we add another ladle of stock. And we keep it going. And at this point, the volume in the pan is increasing. Okay, so that's a sure indicator that it's cooking and that the rice is swelling and it's becoming a lot more creamier, so it's releasing its starch. So it's a good idea to have a little taste at this point. Just indicates how far you are. So there's still quite a bite, so that kind of tells me that we're just over the halfway mark, and I've already used 4 ladles of stock. But while I'm waiting, I'm just going to zest my lemon. If you actually zest it straight onto parchment paper, you won't lose any of that. It won't be absorbed into the chopping board. These are fantastic graters. They're lovely and sharp, and not only can you do a lemon on them, but you can use them for garlic or ginger or Parmesan cheese or nutmeg. So it's definitely going to take 1 more ladle of stock. That was a small one. The last ingredients that go into the risotto are Parmesan cheese. So this is freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano, and then some more butter, okay? And then we'll season it at the very end. So the risotto is now ready. It's taken in total about 15 minutes of gentle stirring and about 6 ladles of stock. So we're going to add the Parmigiano Reggiano, Parmesan cheese, and the last knob of butter. and very slowly mix that all through. And I'm going to put in my lemon zest, hold a little bit back for garnish. Put the lid on and you let it sit for about 2 minutes. So now I'm going to get the prawns. So here we are. I have my prawns already shelled and deveined. I did that, but you can actually get them from the fishmonger. A lot of them do that for you. If you can't get Dublin Bay prawns, you could try using gambas instead. Okay, so to cook the prawns, you want to use again a nice heavy base pan. Turn up your temperature to a nice high temperature. I'm using a non-stick pan. I'm going to very simply just toss them off in a little bit of butter. That's all you need. Might add a little squeeze of lemon juice as well, but not too much. And instantly you can see that the prawns are beginning to curl. Okay, toss them about. They're curling up. And we're talking about 40 seconds to a minute and they're ready. And they're almost picking up a little bit of colour, so that's great. So I'm just going to remove them off the heat because the residual heat in the pan will continue them to cook. Okay, and I'm going to add that little squeeze of lemon juice. Lovely and rich and creamy. Okay, and then we're going to add the prawns. And you have a lovely bit of flavoured butter there, so you can just put that on. And we kept a little bit of lemon zest, so we'll just squirt that on there. A little bit of dill. And you could also add just a little drizzle of olive oil.